I didn't realize how bad off we were. But the floor squeaked when I walked across. I thought, has this always been like this? And Gary says, yeah, duh. My name is Becky Max, and I live in Normal, Illinois. And let's see, what else? Oh, I did childcare for about 40 years. I should have stopped sooner, but I enjoy kids. I love kids, so that's kind of my thing. We traveled around, our family traveled around, and he would be like 3 years in one place, and then we moved to another state or another place or whatever. So I have lived in 7 different states, but I've had a good life. That was a good life doing that. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the travel. Bloomington-Normal is a great place to raise kids. I'm telling you, it really is. I graduated from Normal, and my kids have all gone to Normal Community. So we've had a lot of fun. All of my kids live here now, except one who's in Chicago. There wasn't a lot of loud environment as I was growing up, no. It was pretty it was pretty easy. We have a noisy church right now, but we love it. My mom and her siblings all wore hearing aids. So it's kind of like wearing hearing aids has been passed down to me. And my siblings don't, but I'm the one with the problem. I went to a place and got these hard hearing aids, and they were horrible. And I remember even at doing childcare, at nap time, I'd have to take them out because I'd worn them all morning long, and they were hurting. They were not comfortable. Eventually, I think I lost them, and I went for quite a while without hearing aids. It was hard to really hear what was going on, and you learn, and having even little kids have to repeat things to you because you're not hearing, you're not hearing correctly or whatever. I could read lips, and that is kind of what you end up going to is reading lips when you learn to read lips when you don't have hearing aids. It still comes in handy now and again, but to understand what somebody's saying, especially if they're talking fast, that kind of thing, it just kind of cuts a lot of stuff out. Well, my husband, he speaks quietly, and so he was a little hard to pick up. He still is to some point. I think he's gotten quieter. He probably needs hearing aids. But yes, I've told him this before. He needs to go get his ears checked. And because hearing aids, that kind of thing happens. I think you tend to be a little bit quieter when you talk and stuff like that. I'm probably way too loud. But anyway, so him hearing me when I was talking to him and stuff like that has been, a problem. I do better with lower voices and things like that, and I can hear pretty good. So that kind of thing was kind of you need to go get something done. And even he said so. Yeah, my kids did too. So I knew, I needed to go and do something about it. I don't know, you put things off. You think it'll be okay, that kind of thing. But it really wasn't. I got tired of people not hearing what I was saying or me hearing what they were saying. That was the really difficult part, was hearing them. And, you can only tell people to repeat so many times when you want to hear what they're saying. And so, yeah. So that was kind of it. It was a accumulation of people saying things or, hearing it from my husband and my kids and stuff like that. I knew it was time to go get it done. I did not like wearing those other hearing aids. I was afraid I was going to get the same thing again. And I thought, do I want to put up with hard things in my ears? But I found out later that it was going to be totally different. So that was exciting to me. And I thought I needed to go somewhere that was more professional, that really knew what they were doing, because my experience before was not that great. It just wasn't that great. And I dreaded wearing those hearing aids. I dreaded it. And so they kind of, like I said, they kind of went to the wayside. And so I knew, I just basically came across it, and I thought, I'm going to a professional place that really knows what they're doing. So I did it. I went and I found Natalie. She is a great person. She really is. And and so she thought she could help me out. I don't know what I expected. I knew they were going to find out that I couldn't hear very well. That was a given. I knew I was going to find that out. And I knew that hopefully I would start wearing hearing aids again and be able to hear better. Like I said, hearing it's a necessary in your life. When you think about doing anything with other people, it just is. Well, I had kids with me because I did childcare. So I just took them in with me, but they were very good and they knew what the rules were, because I always told them, you need to keep your voice down and we need to talk, so I had a few of them. So we went in. It was fine. And of course, she treated them to treats afterwards. And so they knew that, the times that I went there, that most likely they'd get a sucker if they were very good. So anyway, so I went in like that, and, I knew there would be a hearing test. It was fine. It was easy to go through, but I knew I was missing a lot of stuff. Because you can kind of tell, because they repeat words to you, and then you repeat them back, or you may have to repeat them back. You want to try that one again? I missed that one, or I didn't get that. And so I learned that you just have to keep going through and say what you think you hear and to do it. That's kind of embarrassing a little bit, but it was okay. And and then she was able to tell me, what hearing I was losing and, this and that and the other. I'm getting hearing aids. I find out they're going to be soft and they're going to be easy to get in. And I'm thinking, I might be able to, this might work. And I never took them out during nap time. I had them in the whole day. And, when you take them out at night, things are quiet. But it was okay, So during the day, I could wear them. They were comfortable. They were wonderful. But the interesting experience, this is one of my favorite experiences, because she had my hearing aids in. And she said, okay, now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn your hearing aids off and I'm going to let you listen to something. And it was an orchestra doing this, Beethoven thing or something. And I was listening to it with my ears and I thought, that wasn't too bad. That was pretty nice. And she said, now I'm going to turn your hearing aids on to what I have set them for. And I want you to listen to it. And I cried. Because I could hear so much that I was missing. And I thought, this is terrible not to be able to hear, because that was the most wonderful thing. And so hearing that music, and I did musicals at our church for a number of years, and to be able to hear all the melodies and everything come out, it was the most wonderful thing. It couldn't have been better for me. That was a wonderful enjoyment, even though I cried. But I loved it. I loved what I could hear again. I noticed that I could hear things, and it was wonderful. It was just, it was like eye-opening type, except it was my ear opening. But it worked. It worked, and it was a wonderful experience. I read my Bible every morning, and when I read my Bible, I'm listening to it at the same time. And so it just makes everything more real. But I'm following along on my phone because I have my Bible on my phone. But when you've got the hearing to go with it and you're listening to what it's saying, it really sticks with you. And so when I really want to get something out of what I'm reading or whatever, to have your hearing, it's amazing. And to be able to do that. I've got the phone, and I'm telling you, the phone can adjust everything for you. So if I'm in a noisy environment at church or whatever, I can put it to a level that I can stand. And, and so that makes it nice. The other thing that I noticed with hearing aids, I could listen with both ears when I get a phone call. And that is a real plus because just one ear, you get it, but it's not the same. And so I get it in both ears. And so when somebody calls, I can talk, I can move around, I can do this and that and the other, so things have improved on the hearing aid thing. It really has. And then there was a time when I got a set of hearing aids, I think it was these probably. I was able to use my phone and change which direction I want to hear things. When Gary sits across from me and we're out to eat and it's noisy or whatever, I can switch it to just forward, to just him, and I can hear him really well. Another experience I had, I had two grandsons. They were probably, 6 and 8 or something like that. And they were following behind me and they were talking. And I couldn't hear everything they were saying. I could hear some of it, but then they kept backing up and everything. So anyway, I turned around and I told them, I'm going to change my hearing aid so that I can hear you guys because you're walking behind me instead of beside me. And so I'm going to change them so that I can hear what you're saying. They backed up even further because they really didn't want me to hear what they were saying. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, that was a fun experience. But you can put them to the back of you if you want to hear what's going on behind you or whatever. That's kind of nice. But basically, they're made so that you hear like this. And so you hear what's in front of you. I kept telling people about my hearing aids, how wonderful they are, that I can hear so much better, that I'm able to hear with both ears. It really is a wonderful experience. And like I said, these things, they're comfortable. They're the most comfortable things. I don't have any problem with wearing them at all. So it's easy. They're easy to get in. And so when I'm listening to music, I get the whole gist of it. Makes you very happy, especially if you've done any music at all. You understand, that you should be able to hear it more. It's like a full orchestra you're hearing in both of your ears, and you can hear everything. And I do listen on my phone sometimes, to music, and it's just a wonderful experience. It really is. Oh, outside, you can hear the birds. And the birds, it's a wonderful thing to be able to hear birds. The breeze, it's not only feeling the breeze, but you can hear the breezes that go past your ears. That's pretty nice. I didn't realize how bad off we were. But the floor squeaked when I walked across. I thought, has this always been like this? And Gary says, yeah, duh. So I noticed that. You're hearing a lot of things you never heard before, or you forgot that you hadn't heard. And to hear them again, it's a good thing. My advice would be to anybody who doesn't have hearing aids and who really is thinking about going, I would encourage them to go. I would say, you can lose some cognitive ability without having hearing aids. I mean, without having good hearing, you miss out on so much. And, to take the test and everything and to know where you're at, that's better than not doing anything about it at all. And once you know that you really do need hearing aids and that they can improve what you have with your ears, the better. And so I would encourage anybody, get them as soon as you can so that you know that you can talk to people and enjoy life a little bit more. To live in a silent world, it's a hard thing. It is. And so having hearing aids is worth it.